Welcome once again, fillies and gentle colts and every pony, to the second episode of our Star Ponies podcast. It is going to be a good one for you. We've worked out some kinks, and hopefully we're going to have a little bit better, more organized podcast for you this week. As always, I am Kaizu, or Lyra, as I'm known in the game. I have my Sateno shirt on, and I am ready to do this podcast well. For this week, as always, I'm joined by the always fashionable Rarity Love Colt,
Hello.
who has the same greeting all the time, but we love him anyway. And once again, we are joined this week by Pinkie Pie.
Hello.
And our fearless leader, Angel Fluttershy.
Ziggy Boogie Dude, and if you get that reference, you get a high five.
High fives for every pony. This week, we've got basically the same thing, bringing at you any news from within the Star Wars universe, any patch updates. We've got a new episode we can review this week. Deals with time travel and Metal Gear Solid Twilight, apparently. And any kind of announcements Angel Fluttershy might have for us that we couldn't cover last time. And general silliness, usually anuses, Katamari Damacy, things like that. You know what to expect. But we do have a couple things we want to let everyone know about this week. Shy does have some news towards the guild that he wasn't able to get out last week, and I'm going to turn it over to him real quick. Let him let us know what's going on, and take it away, man.
Alright, well, this week I'll start first with something quick. Was second group completed hard mode SOA, which was Pinkie Pie, myself, Dressless, Twilight Sparkle, Brayburn, Cloud, Karai, and Soul Reaper, and two of those people got chests. Lucky bastards. There was also an announcement a while ago about new ranks, which was the Moonanite rank, which is a punishment rank, and the Wonderbolt rank, which we haven't talked about at all, and I don't think any of the mains have actually given it to anyone, but there's going to be a mirrored version of it called the Shadowbolt rank for the Imperial Guild, so that'll be kind of neat. They'll be like the same rank as this, on both sides, and we will talk about more about what it's kind of is. It's kind of like MVP pony. Like, you're just a really great member, and it's determined by a main. I'll make sure to type something up about that so you guys get a better idea of what it means to be a Wonderbolt or a Shadowbolt. And the Star Ponies YouTube, we've been coming up with ideas among officers, but we kind of stopped talking about it because we spaced out and started focusing on podcast. And some ideas we had thrown around was do other games, like if any of you have seen DJ Wise, Left 4 Dead playthroughs that he's done with his friends that were kind of random, where he just cut the funny parts and put it together. We thought of doing stuff like that, but with other games, not just Left 4 Dead or just Tor. And then obviously we have other people in the guild like HoloFox who have been trying to put videos together and coming up with ideas and ways that we may be able to promote them through the Star Ponies YouTube. So if you guys have any ideas on those, make sure to drop them by the suggestions area.
Yeah, so basically we'll be doing some pony plays, whatever things for you guys, but at least you'll know who's doing it rather than some random person on YouTube. Hopefully we can get some of you guys involved in it as well. If any of you have a certain game you feel like playing, you feel like commenting on through and making a video on it, hey, let us know. We'll throw it up on the YouTube and get some things rolling here and make things a little bit interesting for everybody. Well,
I mean, I think all four of us are kind of spaced out. Rarity doesn't count as a person.
What?
I know Kaizu has his sore tummy.
I do. Yeah, it's very unpleasant. But I am ready to do this podcast.
The show must go on, as it were?
The show must go on, because before doing this, I got my hair shaved off, kicked it with a couple buddies of mine, threw on my Sateno shirt that I just recently got, and here I am, ready to kick some ass.
I have a recent applicable story about the show that must go on if you're interested in story time.
Hey, story time's always welcome.
So, they were putting on this musical at my high school called Little Shop of Horrors. Some of you may be familiar with it. Yeah, they were doing that, and we have a live pit orchestra, and one of the girls in the pit orchestra actually started feeling sick and walked out and passed out in one of the nearby classrooms, like during a song. So she just kind of got up, left her sax on the chair, and walked out. And after the first act, an ambulance showed up, and she was taken away, and everyone's like, what happened? Apparently she OD'd on something. Like, she took a crap load of drugs before coming.
Holy crap.
And started playing, and she OD'd on something, and she has not been in school for the past week, and my band teacher's acting like she doesn't exist anymore, so she may not be coming back to school. So don't do drugs before going and playing in a pit orchestra.
Like,
that's usually not something you can excuse.
Was it just like a prescription she had?
I think it was a prescription abuse. I can't remember the name of the drug. It starts with an A.
Huh.
Well, then.
Ativan. Adderall.
I don't know.
All right, let's not spend the next 10 minutes trying to guess. I don't think anthrax is a drug.
Anthrax would
At
just
least
kill
not
you.
a prescription drug.
Isn't anthrax a nerve gas or something like that?
It's a powder, actually.
I saw a story on 1,000 Ways to Die. A guy was like taking other people's packages and got killed by anthrax.
Well, I don't have any more news for the guild, so should we move on to general tour news?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Couple neat things. I just wanted to
Space out completely?
a little bit. Some pretty interesting stuff, actually. One of the cool things that Tor now has reached, probably by now, this was a couple days ago he'd sent me, but getting close to about 2 million people. That's
Is that
actual,
2 million subscriptions?
That's actually subscriptions.
Wow.
So they're closing in, if they haven't made it yet, they're closing on 2 million subscriptions, and that's even before the whole 1.2 patch, which I'm sure a lot more people are going to be joining once that goes live. This was back on the 8th that they actually hit that mark, so it's nice to know that it's nice to know that our game is very much alive and going, and it hasn't just been a little fad thing and everyone's kind of joined and saw what it was about, but there's close to 2 million strong going, so that's it's good news for the future of the game, I think.
Yeah, I believe they said it would be profitable at 500,000 players, so I bet they're very happy with this result.
Oh yeah, it's good to see too. Because the more people they play, the more they're gonna want to put out new content. More people tell them about bug fixes. I mean, it's just all around. Some other actually kind of interesting things. Oh, go ahead, man.
I was just gonna say, I think all things considered, they've done a very good job launching the game, and I think it was pretty much as ready as it could possibly be, because they needed to make a good first impression, and it seems like they're holding on to a good portion of their player base and not just having people give it a trial for a month and then leave.
Yeah, honestly, about launch, I mean, this has probably been one of the smoothest MMO launches that I've ever actually been on, because I mean, there's other games that just totally flopped, other ones that had all kinds of server issues, like 3-hour wait times or things crashing, and honestly I didn't really see any of that with the release of Tor, which was pretty cool. I mean, the early access kind of smoothed a lot of people in, and then once actual the 13th hit, I think that's when it was released, whatever, the day it came out, there was no the wait times were okay. They went up a little bit, but there were no widespread server crashing and generally, super lag, anything like that. It was actually pretty smooth, which is really cool. So it's, it's nice to know they're actually doing well and working hard on the game. Another thing that I thought was actually really interesting too that Dracelis had sent me was there's actually certain quote-unquote family values groups in the US, I think one's down in Florida, that are petitioning about the Old Republic, because as they announced for 1.2, I think it's for 1.2 or after, they're going to be trying to move in same-sex relationships and just the kind of stuff they got going on even right now in the game. They're trying to petition BioWare to stop impacting our children, as they want to say, and ruining a family franchise as far as the Star Wars universe goes.
They're saying, basically, think of the children!
as they are wont to
I
do.
mean, they go on to say, like, the Star Wars franchise is a family affair, even though there's people getting arms chopped off, killing each other, burning. Luke's family gets killed within the very beginning.
You see
New
the
Hope.
burned corpses in the first,
and that actually bumped the rating up by a level. The Owen and Veru's corpses alone bumped it up from G to PG. Now, of course, back then there actually was a difference between G and PG. PG was more like what PG-13 is today.
Right. And it's silly because they're trying to say, I mean, the universe itself is not a family thing. It is, back then a lot of people, they got together, watched Star Wars, they loved it.
Well, the game was rated T.
It did, that's what I'm saying. It was in no way, back then it was in no way like a children's movie with everything that was going on.
No, not really, no.
And even the game itself is definitely rated T for teen, so... I mean, one of the quotes, from them, they said, Star Wars video games are for children. An overwhelming percentage of the 1.7 million games sold are being used by children who do not need to be exposed to this propaganda. Please stick to your policy to avoid such advocacy representations in your games, i.e. homosexual relationships, new partial nudity, profanity, stuff like that. And what I want to ask is, hey, if you're letting your little kids play a game that's clearly rated T for teen, clearly states what's in it, I mean, where's the parental responsibility lie in here? You know what I'm saying?
Well, and since when did they get to decide what Star Wars is and is not?
Exactly.
The thing is, I don't want to say that it's not propaganda, because you can really argue anything out there that carries an opinion is propaganda.
And they do.
But it's really when I draw the line with propaganda is when when the propaganda or the opinion clearly is harmful to people in general. Putting homosexuality into a video game is not really going to hurt people. It's like the people who say, don't want to get off into a huge tangent, but it's like the people who say homosexuality is going to ruin your marriage. Newsflash. Homosexuality will ruin your marriage ruin your heterosexual marriage if you're secretly a homosexual.
Right.
That's basically it. It's not going to affect you. So why force your opinion on something when BioWare is basically saying, okay, we've been asked to put this in here. We're going to put this in here. This is what we've got planned to put in here. And if you don't want to buy our game, don't buy our game. We'd like you to buy our game, but if you don't want to play it, don't play it. It's really as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, like little, 8-year-old kids aren't going out $50 in hand to go buy Star Wars. Maybe they are. I don't know if they're rich or something, whatever.
$50 plus a subscription on top of that.
Exactly. So the parents have to be involved in here somewhere.
Which you pretty much need a credit card for, so where are these kids getting the credit cards?
Yeah,
or
and
just getting the money, period.
I don't know how many teenagers are going to be able to, even just teenagers, are going to be able to afford a subscription-based MMO.
Right. So, I mean, it's silly. I just wanted to share something that this is actually going on, which, I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
We've seen this a million times before, and all the points have been discussed a million times.
Yeah. So I just thought it was kind of funny to just share this with you guys, that they're actually some people
not really
taking
going
that
to
step.
Because these people probably wouldn't buy it for their kids regardless.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Particularly since Tor does specifically, explicitly say have sexual romance and cheating
It has lots of cheating. Trust me, I've been playing Smuggler. You can sleep with everything. I married. I flirted with Akvi, and then I went back and forth with Risha. Slept with her 3 times consecutively, married her, and then Akvi got pissed. And Akvi's like, well, you up in here, open my grill. And then I go back down to the plant and sleep with more women.
Hey?
Wow, that's substantially more than the trooper gets.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the companion for Doc, the female romanceable companion Doc. He explicitly, when you're romancing him, you meet like all of his old girlfriends that have like this vendetta against him because he cheated on them and left them.
Nice.
Alright, so you want to actually talk about tour things?
Well, no, that's definitely related to Tor.
Oh, yeah.
If there's anything else you've got, I mean, feel free.
Yeah, I think I'm done because I've heard it all before.
Yeah, I looked at some of the
At least
patch
on this
notes
topic.
I looked at some of the patch notes for 1.2 and some things that we didn't really touch on or ignored at all, like completely last week. So,
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. I just want to say one thing really quick because I actually have Tor news that I found out. Starting this Thursday through this weekend, Tor is going to be free.
Yeah.
trial
It's
period.
on their website.
Yeah, I just
see
thought
what does it say.
just thought I'd throw that out there.
Everyone's getting free tour.
Well, yeah, and also they started a few weeks ago a program where you can send a 7-day free trial to anyone you want, basically. Up to 3 people, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
In fact, I already sent one to my brother.
Well, what's this about it being
Cool.
about it being free? I have not looked into this.
I don't remember. I'd have to dig up.
Oh, for the weekend.
This
Yes.
weekend, starting Thursday.
All right, here I've got it up. Today we're excited to announce Star Wars: The Old Republic weekend free pass free trial, and of course, free has an asterisk by it. Now, for a
Always.
limited time, you will be able to live out your very own Star Wars saga with thousands of other players. Blah 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 blah. No payment method required for up to 4 days.
Yeah, basically it's just like you get free days.
Yeah, basically you can play as any of the 8 character classes. You can play in the Origin world and the Capital world, and I think you're restricted that you can't go further than that. But you are allowed to participate in Nessalus or Black Talon.
And early flashpoints. Not all of the flashpoints, just early ones.
Well, it specifically says the Essalus and Black Talon.
Right, yeah.
Wow, so they're basically giving you, what was it, you said 4 days?
Yeah, 4-day free trial to anyone.
So 4 days is just, hey, jump on in, no restrictions, restrictions,
Well,
do the whole early
You probably
game
wouldn't get that much
content.
further in 4 days anyway.
True.
Not unless you like didn't sleep
Don't
and
sleep
you just
at all,
constantly
yeah.
played
Yeah,
it.
pretty much. Which is roughly what happened when
The game
came
came
out. But if you don't have it by this point, you're probably not that obsessive.
True.
Hopefully.
I
Or
think it's
even
cool,
avoiding
though.
it.
I mean, I don't think
So-
I've seen any other MMO actually go ahead and do that like this early on, just telling people, hey, I mean, there's always been free trials, but nothing like, hey, you got 4 days, come on in,
Yeah,
play
I
our
think it's
game,
a great marketing
do some
strategy.
of our early content, see how you like it. They've always had other games and stuff that have like free 14-day trial shenanigans.
Yeah, like
Um,
WoW's been doing that forever.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty cool idea.
Indeed.
Yes. Alright, so actual patch notes.
Are these for 1.2?
1.2, which is coming up from what they said near the end of April. It was supposed to be near the end of this month, but got pushed back, lo and behold. So you could expect to see this sometime April.
Yeah, not surprising.
Hey, as long as they get it right, I'm happy.
Yeah, one of the reasons they push it back is because I think they're trying to work out the operations and PvP areas more.
The
I'm
Warzone.
okay with this.
Yeah. So first, I want to get the easy one out of the way that a lot of people probably don't care about, but I really care about, is ready check. Which basically, when you're in a group, you can put up a check, and then everyone can click it when they're ready, so you know
Yeah.
everybody's ready, instead of standing there hopping up and down and be like, everyone ready. As an ops leader, that's very fun and very
Yes.
nice.
Yes, it's definitely
Um,
good. Especially when, even though we use Mumble, we often get at least a couple of people that don't have mics.
Or refuse to talk.
That too.
Another quick thing is Warzone rankings being added, which you probably all know about. There's going to be ranked Warzones, non-ranked Warzones. New Warzones being added, Novara Coast, which is like Alderaan, just a different map. But for anybody who's
You
been
mean it's
playing
the same
Empire...
game type?
Well, yeah.
Isn't it
Same game
actually
type.
kind of like a? I remember hearing it's supposed to be kind of like a King of the Hill type match. Basically, there's like one point that you own.
It's hold the points. I read about it, so it's kind of like Alderaan.
Oh, okay.
That's the closest you're gonna get. And Alderaan's like King of the Hill. It's
Well,
just like,
yeah, it's just 3
yeah.
hills.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're adding same faction queuing for the 3 existing war zones, so anybody who's been playing Imperial lately may notice that you get Hutball a lot. Well, now you could get Void Star and Alderaan with Empire versus Empire and Republic versus Republic. So that would be very nice.
Wow.
So is Novair Coast exclusively faction versus opposite faction?
Yes, it is
Okay.
exclusively opposite faction based. I'm not sure if that's for a reason or just because they didn't work that in yet for same faction queuing, so don't expect it to have it anytime soon. They're adding a group finder for flashpoints and heroic area quests. So if you're trying to find 4 people to do that daily, you can now have a group finder. And same for flashpoints, but they will not have it for operations. Not yet. And it is same server. There's no cross server or anything yet. The new Flashpoint coming out, which you could all probably guess, is Lost Land, or Lost Island. I thought I fixed that typo. But it continues the story arc from Kion Under Siege,
Yes.
which is the Rackles, which Pinkie loved because it was Left 4 Dead in Tor version.
Oh, I'm just glad that they're actually completing it. And I was kind of bummed when it gives you even the quest to continue on. It's like, hey, go talk to what's his face, and then you talk to him. It's like, oh, sorry, it's not ready yet.
I was bummed because the bosses in Kion Under Siege kind of sucked.
I thought it was
well,
alright.
the last one kind of did.
The last
the
one
others
sucked.
were
Like,
fine.
the other ones were cool, like the big one you fight the first time, like you have to use the generators or whatever.
Yeah, that one's cool.
That was
cool.
fun.
The turret, little turret thing was kind of neat. It's just a neat concept.
Yeah,
fighting
the turret
off the
thing, like,
hordes.
Yeah, well, it's just, Left 4
and then that
Dead.
bonus
but
boss
Tor.
was
True.
just crazy challenging.
But it was worth it because it dropped headpieces, which it doesn't anymore. So I
Right.
won't go do the bonus boss anymore because it's not worth it. The only point of doing Kion Under Siege is to get to the last group, which can drop Kulumi Head, Bouncing to Bow Wow, which
Right.
nothing else does.
I wonder if the new one will drop like belts or something, since there's no Flashpoint that drops belts.
I would guess. I'm hoping they turn the older Flashpoints into hard modes. Like, I really like Aethys, but
Yeah, I know.
there's not a hard mode version of it.
What was it? Red Reaper, I think.
Oh yeah, that would be
That
cool.
was my favorite one, and I really would like to see a hard mode version of that.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm one of the few people who like Cocoloid war games because
Colicoid.
Colicoid? I don't know. Yes, getting launched off the platform did suck multiple times, but if you had a group
Yeah.
knowing what they were doing, it was entertaining. I'm sure the tank got pissed
Yeah.
off. But I really liked the turret part in the beginning. I thought that was fun. And it's
I
like
love
turning
the clever
around way
solution.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And even like the whole puzzle thing with all the barriers, that was really cool. I mean, there's some
That was
really
cool.
neat concepts they were trying to throw in there rather than, trash boss. I mean, they're throwing in actual,
yeah.
puzzles.
I like
And I would
that
also,
you have to get through.
like to fight the Wookiee with the flamethrower again on Kadamimu.
Yeah, who doesn't want to fight for Wookiee
Dude,
with the
it's a Wookiee with the
flamethrower?
Wookiee with the
It's great.
flamethrower.
Best boss.
Best boss hands
And,
down.
of course,
there's
the
nothing
Ugnaught minions.
complicated, but awesome.
Yeah, that's when troopers and sages with Forcequake are like gods, because it's like AoE all the Ugnaughts.
Or just drag him through his flamethrower.
Yeah, you could do that, but typically the last couple of times I've run it, people are like, "Well, what's going on, yo?" And it's like,
You don't have some nice crispy barbecued Ugnaught?
from
From-
Well, they are
Weapons?
porks. They are porcine bipeds, so perhaps they taste like pork.
Porky pork.
Ugnaught, the other white meat.
Oh, jeez.
Anywho,
Alright, so we want to talk about the new Operation coming out, and I don't think it's releasing on the day of 1.2. I believe it's releasing shortly after 1.2 comes out.
Interesting.
That's what I heard. I may be wrong since 1.2 got pushed back now. But there's two very unique things about it. One is that it will introduce Tier 2 rating, which is new tier gear, so there's going to be gear above Rakata now, which apparently Rakata is the high end of Tier 1. So I don't know how many tiers there's going to be being, but eventually you're probably going to get to this crazy god tier where Rakata looks like crap.
well, yeah, of course. That's just how MMOs work. I mean, it's
Pretty
gonna end up
much.
happening. I just think it's interesting that they actually had 3 ranks of a single tier of gear, which you really don't ever see. I mean, it's normally there's Tier 1 gear, and then there's Tier 2 gear, and there's it's a completely separate sets that are always greatly better than the others. And this one was kind of like, here's Tier 1.1, 1.2, and then 1.3, and then now we're getting into Tier 2. So, I mean,
Yeah,
the
like-
fact that it was like that was actually pretty cool, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, they're really close. Like, I've looked at the Rakata gear, and, like, I've completely modded my current gear, which is all Kalumi with Kalumi mods and like Ricotta mods that I've been looting. And right now, my suit would be better than a Ricotta suit that's unmodded, just for what I'm using it for. But like, as soon as I start getting Ricotta and start being able to mod them, of course it's going to be better. But it's not like a huge difference.
Yeah, it's not that big between the three.
But so yeah, Eternity Vault and Karaga's Palace are considered Tier 1 raids. The new operation called Explosive Conflict will be a Tier 2 raid, and it's supposed to be significantly harder. And one thing about it is that it's going to be less stat reliant, meaning that screening for who has good gear isn't as important as who has the skill, knowledge, and how well you can execute the operation. So I am anticipating lots of puzzles and lots of enemy juggling.
Interesting.
Hey, anything that makes
puzzles.
it interesting. Well, yay puzzles, as long as there's not like the
As long as they don't
pillars
glitch out, yeah.
things again that you have to do 50 million times because they're still broken.
Yeah,
Well-
I love how they fixed it. Like, when we did it the last week, it's like we get there and one pillar's on one side, one of them's already solved. They just had to turn it to one
Are you
side and
serious?
then turn it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we got there, the
But it
southern
wouldn't let
pylon,
it wouldn't
the
use it
last
that
one
way,
was
though.
already solved.
They had to undo
Wow.
it and then redo it. They had to go like left and right or something like that.
It's always something, I swear to God.
Yeah, that's the best. But I'm looking for the new Explosive Conflict. I mean, we haven't cleared nightmare modes and stuff yet, but we will probably before this operation comes
We're
out,
getting
hopefully. And yeah, we're getting there. We're close. I mean, the core group got up to So on Nightmare, and then the core group pussy down in Karaga's Palace. Yeah, just calling them out. Because, Kaizu's all like...
Hey, I was
It is
there,
now recorded.
guys. Hey, we got to Jargon Sorno. Our healer said they couldn't handle it. Basically, our off tank didn't have enough gear, which really isn't his fault completely. He could have worked a little harder.
Completely.
But just kind of like because our off tank, that was really actually the big problem, is that without the off tank to tank the other, to tank the other guy, the healers just couldn't keep up with it. Just strictly for that reason, it was just on nightmare mode. There was just too much damage being thrown out, and we could have kept trying it, but probably calling it after, it was probably the smart decision, just so we could get through it until we have a more assured, manner of dealing with it. Just once our off tank gets the gear that he needs, it should be no problem. Although we did down Bone Thrasher like easier than hard mode, which was really interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. With Jargon Sun on Nightmare, I'm sure once your off tank gets enough gear, I'm sure it'll be fine. But I'm pretty sure if you brought in just like 2 dedicated tanks, because honestly, looking at Karaga's Palace, the only battles where you need DPS is Bone Thrasher and Crusher. The other 3 are mostly about endurance.
Well, and
I mean, Kraga, he's
Yeah.
mostly DPS, but I mean,
Wait.
he's honestly not that bad. Like, healing, you just have to worry about being interrupted, and then tanks just have to stay out of fire, and everyone just needs to not stand behind him, and honestly, he's not bad. And then Fabricator is just like, you have to rely on the people on the puzzle to get through quickly, and then the healers just stay on the tanks, and Crusher, that one's obvious, just make sure you taunt.
well, wait,
And-
why do you need two for Crusher?
No, you don't need to. I'm talking about like no, you don't need.
Oh,
two
you mean
for Crusher.
You mean DPS?
Yeah, I'm talking about DPS.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. I just kind of feel like Kraga's more about survival, less than DPS, unlike Eternity Vault.
Yeah.
We'll get it.
Yeah, no, you guys totally will get it. I mean, just get a little bit more gear. I mean,
Give it
It's like-
time.
I've been comparing myself to other people around the fleet. Like, I've been doing an ops almost nearly every week, like other people, and I was way more geared than this. For example, there's this one Jedi Shadow tank that I always see standing around by the bank. I looked at him like a couple weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago. I was more than twice their gear. They didn't even have like 1,200 willpower. Looked down this week, they're in full Ricotta, and I'm just like, the only way they could get
Okay.
full Ricotta is if they're like the only consular in their group. So
Complete
If I'm
polar
getting-
opposite of our guild, basically.
exactly. I'm just like, so a lot of this has been coming down to just how groups been dispersed. Like, I got a PM the other day. How do you select operation groups? And I actually wrote a really, really long reply. Don't know why it was as long as it was, but I explained it. And my main concern is just balancing the group so we get like loot spread out. I mean, obviously we don't have any smugglers available to do hard modes that are out of the core group. I keep seeing one get signed up, but they've only done like one normal, so I'm just like, no. But I don't know. Like, people are like, well, why'd you sit me all this one? And I'm like, well, I swapped out 2 consulars for a consular and a trooper. That way we have at least like 3 troopers or 2 troopers or whatever, because going in with 5 consulars actually doesn't really help anybody. Because if you're lucky, maybe 2 or 3 of them will walk out with something.
Yeah, I mean, going in with, you're better off just, not going in at all, kind of, rather than going in with like 3 of your other class, because there's a lot less chance that you'll actually get something or get what you want. So it's, balancing out the groups is probably just better than, like, oh, there's 5 consulars, that's fine. It's really not. No,
and I've been trying a lot harder to make sure the players who sign up for hard are ready for hard. And by that I mean they've run normals. I've run each normal at least 2 times. That's kind of how I've been doing it. I mean, there's exceptions, obviously. Like, say we really needed somebody and they've run each one at least once. Well, okay, let's bring them in. But a lot of these operations are more about just knowing the fights rather than having the gear. But there's exceptions to that, of course. Like, tanks obviously need to be geared for Jargon Sorno. You obviously need to have some sort of high DPS for SOA, and etc., etc.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get there, honestly. It's just still bugs we're working out. I mean, we're not a hardcore raid guild. We are a casual raid guild. We are more about fun and, friends and whatnot, rather than we gotta get this perfect and this raid done by this day and all that. We're not into that. So we're gonna run into these kind of hiccups where people aren't geared like they need to be, or, just things happen with that, because we're not perfectly organized for everything, because we're not really worried about it. I mean, we're all mainly in here to just have fun, and then that's kind of why we made the core group, because it's just for the few people that really want to do progression. Everyone else is like, hey, let's just have fun raiding, and we're able at this point now to just do it without having to worry too much about getting new people in and whatnot. So that's what you really got to think about and take away from this, is just prepare yourself as best you can. We're trying to work everyone into the groups what we have. We have close to 50-50s, but not everyone's on at the same time. Not everyone's willing to do operations, so you just got to kind of bear with us for now. We're still, the game's still pretty new. It's been a couple months. That still justifies being new, really. And just take it as we go with it. We're doing our best.
Yeah, like, if you get sat out one day, if you're there the next day, you're going to get in. Like, I know we have like 10 people sign up for a hard mode, but I obviously can only take 8. So if you don't get in that one day, and if you're signing up for the next day, I pay attention to that. Like, for example, if you're signing up for Friday, but you can't make Saturday, I know there's going to be a hard on Friday. I'll bring you over another person, try to get you through it, and then the next day that person will go, because that's just how it goes sometimes. And I try and get everyone through who's a hardcore raider, because there are obviously people in our guild who've surpassed doing normals over and over again and need to do hards, or they only want to do hards. And that's fine, because if we get those hard people geared, then maybe the guild groups can try Nightmare along with the core group. But if we were a hardcore raiding group from day one, we would have a set group. But if we had that set group, a lot of people would be left out of raiding, which I don't want. So to move off the subject of raiding and talk about one that we didn't talk about in Tori, was crafting, because crafting is getting a huge overhaul in 1.2.
Indubitably.
Yay.
To start off with something easy is that some bind on pickup crafting materials, like biometric crystals, will not be bind on pickup anymore. You'll be able to trade them. I'm not sure about alien data cubes and really high-end crafting materials, but there should be some that have their restrictions loosened. And
which will be nice.
Yes, that would be very nice, because when you have like 11 biometric crystals on your character and your other one needs them, it's a little frustrating. But another thing we could talk, I think we all could relate to here, is C2N2 is going to be useful.
Oh my goodness. Whoa, what was that?
That was me saying
that was
yes.
Rarity jizzing in his pants with excitement.
But as you all know, C2N2 can heal barely, and that's about it. But with this new patch, you'll be able to gain infection with him, I believe.
Did you say infection?
Affection.
Yeah,
you
I
guys.
think you can only do it through gifts though, rather than.
Well,
actually
yeah, of
taking
course.
That
I've
makes
been stock
sense.
up on technology.
I think he'll take. If I'm not mistaken, during the guild summit they said he'll take luxury too. Apparently,
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, him and his seat cushions.
he likes to have the
this,
ship
This
nice.
will be nice considering C2N2. I don't generally send him out on missions unless it's a very unimportant mission or it's a crafting mission that I'm just sort of using to grind my crafting skill. Because otherwise he will fail the mission and I will lose out on the 2,000 credits that I spent on him to go send the mission.
Yeah, I think everyone's had the sorry master C2N2 failure. It does get really old real quick.
He's never said sorry, master, when he's failed, though.
Yeah, he's bugged so that he says the reverse.
True, but you know what I mean.
Actually, they all are kind of bugged that way.
Still, it's dumb. It shouldn't be something that happens once you hit 50, you know.
Yeah.
He's just annoying in general. I'm still
Yeah.
not going to use him when
Eh.
they fix him.
No, I'm totally going to use him because the way he's used is that you could actually change his setup around, like his. I'm not sure how they're going to exactly do it.
So, let me guess. They're going to make it so that you can change what he's good at.
Yes, you can change what he's good at. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to do it, but you'll be able to make it so he actually has the highest like crafting efficiency or crafting critical out of
Oh, I
anything you
see.
could do.
You can
So,
change
yeah.
his bonuses to crafting.
Yeah, you could change his bonuses. So, like, for example, doesn't a trooper have a companion that can do like +5 crit to arms mech?
Armor mech, yes.
Armor
Yeah.
mech, yes. Well, he'll be able. You can make C2N2 good enough so he can like have +10 critical to armor mech or something crazy.
Wow.
That would be insane.
That's very
He'll-
handy.
I know that he'll be very specialized for
Especially,
crafting.
yeah, especially considering they're boosting crafting, that would be a huge benefit.
Especially for what we're about to move into, which is, hey everybody, are you an arms tech? Do you feel useful? Not
Hell
because
no.
you're stupid. But they're going to be useful in 1.2 because orange weapons will be able to be critted to have augment slots, which means that makes them better technically in the long run than Ricotta, because in Art 1.2 you'll be able to remove armoring, hilts, and barrels from PvE tier gear, which means you don't like the way your Jedi hat looks like, well you can rip out the armoring, which will take with it the set bonus. It's attached to the armoring, and you could put it in a hat you do like, and then that will go towards your set bonus. So there'll be a lot more visual customization, and
Right.
Crafted critted orange armor will actually be very, very useful,
Yes,
because
and
then you can put in an augment for an extra 28, because purple level 49 will give 28 stat to whatever it's for.
Yes, and I believe they're also adding a lot more orange gear to give you more options as to what you can put those mods into. Which I'm thankful, because the most orange gear I found does not look very good, at least for the trooper. I don't know about the other classes.
Well, I really like on my smuggler, I'm still using the jacket that I stole from Kaizu when we ran the S list together.
And you're still a dirty bastard for that.
But I really like the S list jacket, and I really just like the way it looks. It looks like some sort of like downright smuggler that I like, for like some sort of smuggler that a politician might have been in their past, and that's kind of how I'm playing my smuggler. And I like the aesthetics of it.
Because
And
she's
I would be,
Mare.
yeah, because she's Mare. But I would be very sad when I finally get to 50, if I get to 50.
Inevitably.
Yeah, I'll
I
get
don't
there
know.
eventually. I'll get there eventually, after they raise the level cap.
Probably.
But I would not want to change my the jacket that I'm wearing out for a jacket that I don't necessarily want to wear. Because yeah, smuggler Ricotta and Kalumi and stuff like that doesn't appeal to me all that much. A lot of those don't appeal to me all that much.
I like the
Nick,
smuggler
they look
hat.
like shit.
Yeah, not all of them.
The smuggler gear looks like garbage. Don't even try and go
Okay.
around it.
Everything below the neck looks like garbage, but the hat with the mouth guard looks cool because then
That
you could be
looks
all
alright.
like.
I'll give you that. That one looks
that
alright.
looks- that
Everything
looks
else is
badass.
just completely garbage.
The troopers are the complete inverse. For our PvE
True.
gear looks great,
Everything
except
from
for the
top.
headpiece. It
Yes.
looks like you're wearing a silo on your head.
So the clear thing we should do is deck out in trooper gear from the neck down, and then put on the smuggler hat.
I've actually done that. I got a smuggler hat. I've done it.
I've been debating getting Jedi Knight gear, like medium armor, and then wearing it as GUI.
Well, from what I've seen from the 1.2 video, they are making an effort to make more aesthetically pleasing gear. Albeit the smugglers still looks, instead of simple, just kind of ridiculous. Like, I don't even know what's going on with their gear, but
don't
everyone
they get,
else...
like, weird like face visors now.
Yeah, there's like huge goggles and like gadgets all
Splinter
over
Cell.
them. All I care about is the trooper one looks awesome. You look like a freaking future tech
I know.
behemoth soldier ready to whoop some ass, and I'm okay with this.
You look like kind of like RoboCop.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm totally cool with this. Thank you, BioWare.
Yes, I'm very excited that more crafting of professions will become useful, and that we'll be able to customize our appearance a lot more.
Definitely
Yes,
sticking
I
with
can-
armor mech because I'm gonna get real popular real fast.
Yeah,
Darn
and
Yeah, I'm
City.
thinking.
I'm
I'm
going to be
thinking
asking
about.
Flippy for all the guns.
I think I'm gonna take a crafting skill on Mare, considering right now she has slicing, diplomacy, and investigations, and I'm thinking I need something to do with diplomacy because that's the only crafting skill that I'm going to really care about. Possibly as investigations, but
Well,
mission skill.
if you're going with diplomacy, biochem. And
Yeah.
Speaking of more crafting, something I'm excited about because I think I'm going to be bestowed with this lovely ability, that being cybertex, is that augments will no longer be found. They will be crafted. What's going to happen is that the slicing missions that give you augments will now give you components. So you'll get parts for augments, just like you would with diplomacy for implants or underworld trading metals for other things. And then you can use those components to craft the augment you want, instead of running mission upon mission upon mission for weeks and weeks on end, and only getting tanking augments when you don't even have a freaking tank character. Seriously, I've gotten more shield rating augments than I ever want. But I am excited for that because, I don't know why, but when I took it on Angel Fluttershy when the game first started, I was getting power augments. Like, everything I needed, I got. And now I took it on GUI, and I cannot get, like, one purple that's semi-relevant to my class.
Oh, fun. Let's get moving. Let's get moving along
Two
here. 'Cause
pony.
Two ponies.
Bonus!
Ponies.
Where Shy shuts up and zones out.
Only when you get into crazy details. I'm like, lol, cartoon show.
You kind of hit like interesting cartoon show and then just kind of drop off from there.
I have a feeling that Shy's approach to watching the show is to shut his brain off while he watches it,
Yeah,
which
I
I
kinda
can
do
definitely
too.
sympathize with.
I usually go back the second time and actually pay attention. And oh dear God, creepy Twilight.
Yeah.
No, I
don't
mean
think-
that I found.
Oh, well, you mean like you're surfing right now?
Yeah, I'm the just like one guy emulated a bunch of different people by drawing Twilight in their styles, and one of them is it's horrifying. Very,
All right, then.
very horrifying.
Was it Crooked Trees then?
No, Crooked
They were
Trees.
emulating?
Actually, that was one of the emulations. Actually, pretty cool. He actually did it very well emulating him, and I like it because I love Crooked Trees stuff. That's not horrifying.
We aren't supposed
Alright.
to be talking about this right now. We're supposed to be talking about the episode.
Yes. So
Just
this week's
saying.
episode was It's About Time.
Woo! Time travel. Just
Yes,
I don't
yes,
even
time
know
travel.
anymore about this show.
Basically, what? Well, have you seen it?
I have seen it, and
Okay.
it's just like they consecutively, as the season goes on, continue to pull more ridiculous stuff out of their asses. That's all I have to say.
But it was entertaining.
It was. I thought it was all right. I mean, the kind of everyone took the whole Twilight with the eye patch and the suit and everything, and went off into the whole Metal Gear Solid / Escape from L.A., Escape from New York, whatever way with it, which I didn't even think about until I started seeing all the fan stuff about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess you could do that.
Yeah, I've never actually played a Metal Gear Solid game, but I've heard people say that it was actually, like, it wasn't just that she looked kind of like Solid Snake, like, it was very close to...
Yeah, with the whole sneaking and all that stuff.
Like, to the point where it might have been a deliberate reference.
Maybe,
but
kind of on the fence about that.
In the end, when she's going through and sneaking into Canterlot, it was very Metal Gear Solid-esque.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where they kind of took it after that.
But basically, we had roughly another lesson 0. I don't think she went quite to the extreme.
What was the message? I don't even remember what the message was for this one. Do you?
Well, she
don't
didn't
worry
really
about the future.
Write a letter, but basically the lesson was don't over worry yourself about what the future might bring.
That's actually like my philosophy for life. To be honest, I don't live in the future. I don't live in the past. I just deal with everything day to day. So that's actually kind of relevant to me. Kind of an interesting concept, because now that I remember it, I kind of thought it was also promoting a limited outlook on life. In my opinion, is they were kind of saying, hey, don't look towards the future about what's tomorrow's going to hold. And I don't know if that's exactly
it was also kind of implying that you can't do a darn thing to change anything.
This is true.
I'm not sure is the way I like to view things, that because basically what it was is it just ended up being one big loop. Her trying to prevent it ended up causing it, which is a pretty common trope when it comes to time travel.
Well, it's one of the rules as to how time keeps its consistency. I could go on for probably about 3 or 4 hours just explaining the different ways that time works and how it's supposed to work and stuff like that. And this is one of the more common ones, is that time cannot be changed. If you go back in time, you're just going to cause the change. Or at least it cannot be changed
through time travel, because then you would affect the actual act of traveling through time, and you would cause a paradox.
Which she kind of did.
Not really, because everything worked out exactly how it originally happened. Nothing changed.
But it kind of goes to a thing that now that's going to be an infinite loop through time, with her going back in time, warning herself
but it's not
it
quite
happening, and her
paradoxical,
going back in time.
That's not a paradox, though. A paradox is when it can't exist.
No, it's when it contradicts itself.
But a paradox in time can't exist, or else the integrity of time will break apart and destroy itself.
And of course, there's also Pinkie Pie doing her darndest to steal the show.
Oh my god, I love Pinkie always.
Like, every episode where she is a side character, supposed to be a side character, she just completely steals the spotlight.
Like,
every time.
They keep adding Pinkie to other characters'
right,
shows they're
like
supposed to be
week.
About, and she just is just so awesome and so Pinkie Pie that you can't help but just love her more than what the episode's actually supposed to be about, at least for me.
Yeah. And, of course, in this one, we get, and Fluttershy, I'm sure, appreciates this, that Pinkie Pie as a gypsy is now canon.
Don't want to talk about it.
What canon?
Gypsy Pinkie Pie is best.
For those of you who don't know, Pinkie Pie as a gypsy is a recurring joke in the Friendship is Witchcraft parody series. And so when you see her as basically this fortune teller living in a tent, the first thing that came to mind was Friendship is Witchcraft's Pinkie Pie as a gypsy.
That and Shy doesn't like gypsies.
Yes, that's a recurring joke within our guild.
I, however, love gypsies. They are one of my favorite ethnicities. And I love writing stories about gypsies. So you can tell that Butterscotch and I get along like a peach and a cobbler.
I thought it was awesome, dude. I loved it, because, I mean, I'm biased a little bit here because I love Pinkie Pie, but just I find it funny, like you were saying earlier, that how she steals the show. I mean, they just keep putting her into the most ridiculous things and causing her to basically be the center of different scenes with how they make it play out. that it just I don't know if they're trying to like purposely make Pinkie more awesome than she already is. It seems like if you're trying to make an episode, say this one focused around Twilight, and then you introduce Pinkie Pie as more than we've even seen, such as a gypsy or as a completely fail yet awesome ninja, it's like you wonder why they're actually going that extra length to add her in such awesome ways when the episode's clearly not about her.
And that recurring joke about her thinking this whole thing is about Twilight's birthday present.
Yes.
That was just hilarious.
Anyone else seen that they're trying to make Pinkie Pie be the most useful pony? Because, I mean, like, you know, they're in the old library spell section, and she's the one who always finds a spell. In Twilight's library, she always finds the book.
Out of the bookcase. Well,
yeah, I mean, she just seems like... And she always has the information, and she always, like,
she's the
can
plot
help with almost anything.
Device.
She is.
Basically.
She's the everything.
Because she's so...
I mean, for goodness sake, like... She keeps balls stashed around Ponyville in case of ball emergencies. And eye patches as well.
Yeah, like I'm saying, they just they keep introducing Pinkie Pie more awesome than she already is, and it's got to be a conscious decision. But you just wonder, like, all right, why not just make every freaking episode about Pinkie Pie by this point?
Well, speaking of the ball, yet another mythological creature added to the roster, the Cerberus.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
Oh yeah, and
the
Bulldog.
three-headed dog.
And the gates
And the most interesting
hell,
part about
basically.
it was that, like, they didn't just introduce Cerberus, they introduced the entire mythology surrounding Cerberus.
Yeah.
That is, he is the guardian of the gate to Tartarus, where a bunch of horrible monsters are apparently imprisoned, which is just... solid gold for fanfic writers, I'm sure.
Have you seen anything come out yet for that? Because I'd be really surprised if there isn't at least something yet, or
fanfic?
something in the works. Yeah.
I don't think I've seen anything yet specifically on that, but I mean, it has been far less than a week.
True.
So give it time, and I'm sure it will happen.
There's got to be something in the works, because that's just adding Cerberus and the gates to Tartarus into actual canon MLP.
Yeah, that was
oh
pretty
my god, they're
nuts,
gonna
too.
take
And
that
then they
roll
just
with
leave it at that. They don't go into any more detail.
Oh yeah, it's like here's this little bit of information. You know, there's now mythological,
like,
more
holy
mythological
cow.
creatures, as we were introduced last week too. The Minotaurs. Now we have Cerberuses. It's
Well, I think there might be only one Cerberus.
Yeah, Cerberus
both in mythology and in MLP.
Cerberus isn't a race name. It is.
I know it's the actual creature.
Well, technically,
It's the actual
same.
creature.
You could say the same for Pegasus. Pegasus was not the name of a creature. I mean, was not a type of creature. It was the specific name of that one entity.
Yeah, specifically Pegasus was.
That's why there's so much
Pegasus,
confusion
the winged
about
horse.
the plural, because there is no plural because it's a proper name.
Which is always fun when you're trying to type out Pegasuses or Pegasi in like Word or something like that, like the Pegasus, and it automatically likes to capitalize it.
You try
Yeah,
Pegasi,
because
it's like nope,
it's
you're wrong.
the name of that specific being. It's not the name of a species, at least not originally.
And of course, like true My Little Pony fashion, Fluttershy to the rescue with the big nasty
Yes.
creature. Tummy rub,
Always
solve
adorable.
everything. Especially when it's
Alright.
about to pee on a house.
Ooh, one funny little detail. When Twilight goes into Big Brother mode and tries to observe and document everything so that she knows what's going to happen, on her chalkboard she has written the full set of equations for time dilation at constant acceleration in special relativity.
She did? I didn't notice that.
And you know
Yeah,
this
it's like
offhand?
it takes up half of the screen at one point.
I
But
wasn't really looking at the chalkboard.
yes.
Otherwise, I probably would have noticed that.
Dude, how
Well,
do you know
I-
the equation for time dilation and relativity?
Well, I didn't know these equations specifically. I did recognize some of the elements from special relativity, but Equestria Daily does wonders on reporting this sort of thing. So, yeah, I found out exactly what they were because I've never actually studied relativity for non-zero acceleration, so I wasn't familiar with these exact equations, but I recognized many of their elements.
So she was studying time travel before learning time travel,
Basically.
so to speak.
Time dilation.
The inconsistencies. Oh no!
Of course, that only goes
So-
forward.
Call the
Doesn't go
inconsistencies,
backwards.
please.
But anyway, that
She was predicting that she was
that
going
was
to time
pretty
travel?
crazy that they actually put in those such advanced equations, especially that they are specifically in reference to the passage of time.
Hey, they got some intellectuals over at Studio B, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
How do we know how far science and technology has advanced within the pony realm? Because if they have that equation,
Well,
I'm
that's
pretty
the
sure,
funny thing about
you
the
know.
Pony universe, though, is there's like she knows
Very
the equation
inconsistent
for time
scientific
dilation
advancement.
and spatial relativity, and yet they do they even have like electricity half the time?
Yeah, they have electricities.
And
they have running water.
The dam is clearly hydroelectric,
I mean, just certain things. It's like
which we got to see in this episode again.
you can't really figure out where they are technologically advanced at all, because for one moment they've got something like that, and the next minute they have
Rainbow Dash is reading by firefly light.
yeah, exactly, or cranes
If
that
you-
look like they're all manually controlled rather than electrically controlled, or whatever.
If you want me to, I could binge on the episodes that we have gotten so far and do an advanced, detailed write-up of their technological ability and try to explain why certain technological advancements are inconsistent.
I would like to see that.
You can go ahead and do that by all means. I'm actually curious to read that too. But yeah, we can always discuss that at another time.
And of
Yeah,
course,
because I spend a lot of times when I read like a science fiction novel or something like that, or a fantasy novel with science fiction elements, I always go, okay, where's their technology? Here's what I've gotten so far. Where would their technology be at if we were to put it on the traditional technological scale of human technological advancements?
Yeah, but theirs you can't really put it onto a scale because it's just all over the place.
Well, you could. You still could.
I don't know.
I would probably say, just from my memory, I would probably say they're probably in the nuclear age. Not digital yet, nuclear. This would be 1940s and 50s.
that seems the closest anyway to being most accurate.
Yeah, I mean, I could see.
As
that.
for the inconsistencies, a lot of it could be doing with early 40s, where a lot of their technology is expensive to produce or manufacture. Because I'm not sure if they have. I'm not sure how far they progress with factory technology. Because you could get into the nuclear age by skipping the industrial age. We can have steam technology, but that doesn't necessarily mean we have efficient factories.
What were their trains powered by?
Horses and steam.
Then you just
Wait,
steam
in MLB,
technology.
you mean?
No. That's not necessarily factory technology, though. Or efficient factory technology, I should say.
Okay, let's just say
You could make an entire. You could pretty much make an entire train by hand. It would take probably about 6 months of full work days, but you could do it.
they have magic. What do they need factories for?
Yeah, that's probably the reason why the tech is so messed up. I'm sure the existence of magic would really warp the progression of science and technology.
Definitely. It's like, lol, what? No, we have magic. Get out of here.
Anyway, so who here thinks that Celestia was trolling at the end of the episode? Happy Tuesday, everyone!
Oh yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Just randomly
Yeah.
rolled
Why
by.
would
Oh,
you
what's up?
emphasize that it's Tuesday if you didn't know exactly what was going on?
Because it was a happy Tuesday. She just wanted to share it with the world.
I
Maybe
like the new
Tuesday she likes to
haircut.
stroll through the library saying happy Tuesday to everybody because that's her special day.
Yeah, and I love how that she's putting so much effort to infiltrating the archives, and they just let her
No
in
one
because
cares.
she's Twilight freaking Sparkle.
Oh, hey, Twilight. You want it in the archives? Yeah, let me get that for you.
Well, I don't think it's just that no one cares, but it's Twilight Sparkle.
Yeah.
Like, that's what she does, is she studies
I'm
under
Twilight
Celestia.
Motherfucking Sparkle.
Yeah, exactly.
I am the personal student to Princess Celestia, and I'm obsessive compulsive about studying.
If Twilight isn't allowed into the archives, who possibly would be?
Pinkie Pie.
Well, Pinkie Pie
Pinkie Pie
doesn't
just
need to be
walks
let
through the
into
door.
it. Pinkie Pie would find a way to get in there.
She'd go through the
fused
window.
through the wall.
Because that window wasn't barred.
Yeah. Maybe we
Think
should
about
ask
it.
someone in the Star Swirl the Bearded Wing.
Think about it. The Star Swirl, the Bearded Wing, had a window that didn't have bars on it.
But it had a locked gate.
They seem to really like Star Swirl, referencing Star Swirl the Bearded in this season. This is the, third time?
It's a good lore fallback, for all things magical. I can understand that.
Well, and they specifically mentioned in Nightmare Night that that has a wing in the Canterlot Archives named after him. So that was actually a very specific reference that they used again in this episode. I wonder if they had the same writer. I should check that.
It could be. So they have like 3 different main writers, I think it is.
Like 3 or 4.
I remember I read something on it before.
That seems about right.
There was like 3 or 4.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up later. I don't know off the top of my head.
And I remember reading an article they referenced about it too, just how a lot of the episodes are similar through the writers.
Anyway, do you guys have any other
Did you see
things
Derped?
you want to talk about?
Hugh Jelly fanfic?
Hold on, real,
No, we are not talking
real
about
quick.
that.
Did anyone see Derpy in this one?
In this episode?
Yeah.
I don't recall.
I don't know. I don't usually see Derpy on my first watch through.
I usually try and catch it, but sometimes like this one I just kind of blanked and didn't even bother.
Yeah, it's not in EQD's follow-up for the episode, so she probably wasn't then.
Interesting. Well, that makes me sad.
Well, anyway, is there any other pony news we should discuss?
Fluttershy is still adorable?
Well, yeah, that goes without saying, and we're going to get more of her in a couple of weeks.
We Love Fine already has those shirts based off this episode.
Yeah, several Iron Will shirts. Like, one is the entire list of his catchphrases.
No, I mean Future Twilight shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Already. It looks like Escape from Ponyville, referencing Escape from New York.
I think it's Escape from Canterlot, actually. Or did they do a different design?
Well, I meant referencing the real-world counterpart.
Oh.
And it says the shirt's Escape from Ponyville.
Okay. Has anyone been following Tara Strong's shenanigans?
Twilightlicious.
Twilightlicious.
I don't even know what's going on with that. I've just randomly caught things off of like some groups I follow on YouTube and just like mentioned Twilightlicious.
I've just heard she's trolling.
I don't know.
What she
she's been
basically
trolling.
is. She completely 100% understands the power she wields, and she is using it for the hell of it. Basically, is what's going on now. She's constantly tweeting and even using like a new audio version of Twitter or something like that, and recording her voice. And that Twilightlicious song, that rap she did, was one of the things she put on there.
She's done more than that too. Like
posting saucy pictures of Twilight.
Well, no, she's posted voice clips too. Like she posted.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Truffles from. From Chowder talking about Twilightlicious. She posted Twilight in her Twilight voice talking about it, and then some other stuff that I happened to listen to earlier. I was like, okay.
But it was kind of funny at first, but I think it's actually starting to get a bit annoying to me anyway.
I haven't been following it that much, so I haven't let it gotten annoying to me. So all I know is she's trolling people. Good for her. We need more famous trolls.
I don't know if it would be so much called trolling. That she'd be like, oh, she's such a troll. It's more just she's having fun with the fandom because she knows they're going to react.
Trolling
that
sort
way.
of implies that she's trying to trick us somehow, which she's not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everyone's like, oh, she's such a big troll.
True.
She's trolling. It's like other trolls. I'm like, dude, she's not trolling.
She's just messing around. She's just like,
she's having fun
hey,
with the fandom.
I'm bored, and I have this army, this legion of fans that'll basically react as strongly as humanly possible to whatever I do. I'm going to run with this.
Yeah.
You know, I don't blame her, because I do the same. I mean, get on Message of the Days to rub my belly. I mean, shit.
Pretty much.
Hey, she just gotta have fun somehow.
I can't get angry at myself.
I do the
Probably
same thing.
the biggest news recently, outside of just the general episodes, are the new blind bags.
Lyra is canon. Yes.
Lyra Heartstrings is now the official name of that toy, at least.
And Trixie.
They also fixed Trixie's
And
name.
Trixie
She's no longer
They gave her a
Lulu.
last name for some reason.
No,
Yes.
it's because the toy was already called Lulu.
I know, but they just decided to make it her last name. Like, all right.
Well, same thing with Lyra. The toy was called Heartstrings, and they changed it to Lyra Heartstrings, which...
But Lyra was never mentioned in the show, actually, with a name, so you could understand why
Lyra
they'd
is
give her
100%
the last name.
a fan name.
Yeah.
I mean,
At least
Bon
Trixie
Bon-
had a name.
even Bon Bon, that name is taken from a previous generation of ponies. Lyra is 100% fan-made name.
Yeah.
Unless Studio B went into the fan base and planted that name.
Conspiracy Keanu.
Conspiracy Keanu.
Dude.
Well, I think that's pretty much all that we have to say. I think.
You think what I tell you to think.
I just wanted to say that I'm actually really appreciating that the toy half of Hasbro is actually starting to put effort into their merchandise now.
Nope.
No?
Nope. Fluttershy is still wrong in the latest blind bag. It's a Rainbow Dash model, and she's completely yellow. She doesn't even have
Even though
pink
the
hair.
It's
I'm
glow in
just
the
like,
dark.
Care.
It's glow in the dark.
I don't care. It's not even
Wait, her
Fluttershy.
hair is
I just
yellow?
want to ram my face into the table. Yeah.
Well, on that note, Lyra is just a recolor of Twilight Sparkle.
They're all recolors. They made like 3 different
No, but
models,
they didn't even
and
make-
they're like, "Well, we're just gonna recolor everything."
They also got Luna's colors wrong in her recolor of Celestia
Yeah.
in the blind bag.
Yeah, and in the
It's
picture,
old Luna.
it was the original Luna. Yeah.
I think we can just agree that they fail completely when it comes to
Well,
toys.
they're
Well, they're doing
improving
better.
is what I wanted. The point is, like, we need to show them that we appreciate that they're at least starting to try, you know?
You know what they need to do? They need to take all the pony
I
figures.
mean, for goodness sake, they're making a DJ Pone 3 toy.
That's awesome. I think they should take all the figures, all their ideas for the toys, and have companies like Max Factory or Good Smile Company or something do them, because
They
that
need
would
to
be
find-
awesome.
They need to find someone for their toys that is like the person who is in charge of menswear at We Love Fine.
They just need to
Because
not
clearly
derp and do
that
it right.
person gets it. Because they've actually the woman who is in charge of the menswear on We Love Fine was on Bronyville a few weeks ago, and she is a brony. That is why you're seeing so many awesome shirts come out of We Love Fine.
Yes, but it's super epic still, and they have good Gur shirts.
They have a lot of good shirts. I think the pony shirts make up like 80% of their shirts now, though, just from the sheer amount.
Yeah, I mean, like, how many different pony shirts they have at this point? Like, they probably hit 100.
They need to drop the price. I want to pay $25 for a shirt.
Yeah, it is a little bit pricey.
Well, I did spend $22 on 2 different shirts, but that's beside the point.
Well, anyway, anything else we want to talk about pony-related?
Quick, fast plug. If you want shirts, go to the forums, go to Rydell's Pony Swag, and buy some Gur
Yes,
swag.
you can go to Brony
Yes.
Bazaar.
Brony Bazaar.
Spreadshirt.com or some such.
Yeah, something like that.
Just search
Yes.
It's on the forums.
And then he also has
which
a
you should
cafe
be
press
checking
with,
the
like,
forums.
stuff. Yeah, if you're not a member for it, go get on the forums. If you're not on the forums, how are you even
Because
hearing
you
this?
need to post it in Guild Chat again. Or not Guild Chat, but
Okay,
the message of the day.
Daily message of the day.
MOTD.
we'll do.
What about PPD?
I said MOTD.
Oh.
A message
I think
of the
I think it's time
day.
before we go off. We should probably end this before we start ranting again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
we kind of got to
probably.
that point. Anyway, this
Bye, people.
thank you everyone for listening to our second podcast. Hopefully it was enjoyable for you all. I'm going to make an attempt to upload this to our Star Ponies channel this time and let you all know I'm still working on some certain things for this and possibly having a dedicated site and whatnot for it. I just want to throw something out there too before we go off. If anyone out there, any artists, anyone who makes music, you know, any kind of creations whatsoever, if you guys want to go ahead and be proactive and maybe draw up some character portraits or some background images or something for the video, for our podcast, please do, and link them to me on the forum. Just send me a PM with them, or if you want to make some music for our intro or outro, I'd be really appreciated too. You know, you guys, so, you know, I want this to be for you guys, and want to get you guys involved as much as possible. So please send us any, on top of that, any comments, suggestions, criticisms, questions, maybe something you want us to add to the podcast. We can see if we can work it in, but give us some feedback. Let us know how we can make this better, and make it better for all you guys. And on that, this has been our Star Ponies podcast episode 2. As always, this is Kaizu with my co-host Rarity and our guests again this week, Angel, Fluttershy, and Pinkie Pie, and you all have a wonderful night.
Farewell.
Goodbye.
Bye.